Hello everyone, my name is Michael Muldrow. I'm the Commissioner with the York City Police Department, and I'm joined here today with team members, colleagues, and community. We're following up on an initiative that we announced a brief time ago called the Remember Me Project. The purpose of the Remember Me Project is for us to be able to sit down with our families that have lost loved ones and give them an opportunity, give them a voice to be able to speak on behalf of the individuals that they lost and the lives that they led and what they meant to them and inside of the community. And we're doing that because we want to, one, highlight some of these cases and situations and bring renewed attention on not only the circumstances, but the lives of the individuals that we lost. And additionally, we also want to do this for the purpose of helping our families get justice for their loved one and be able to try to get them some closure, a measure of closure. And so we're proud to be able to do this and provide this platform for a conversation to happen and renewed attention to take place. So today, I am thankfully joined here today with Ashanti Morgan, this beautiful young lady to my left. So, Miss Morgan, we want to ask you, how did we get here today?
Well, in 2021, my oldest son was killed in York City.
Those tend to be some of the hardest words we can put together. I know this from my own experience. I commend you for having the strength and the courage to sit here and say that out loud. With that, we're going to allow you to get some support. We have here, as some of that support, we have Tiff Lowe, the director of our GVI program, who knows you, knew your son. And we have the Detective Eastman, who is responsible for investigating the case. Can you guys give us some details about the circumstances of the situation?
Sure. Back in 2021, it was Tuesday, May 25th in 2021, just after 8:30 in the evening, when police were dispatched to report shots fired in the area of the 500 block of South Queen and 500 block of Mackenzie Street. The responding officers arrived on scene, and they found one victim that was on the ground. They attempted to render aid to him at that time and secured the scene. During that time, the victim was determined to be deceased at that time, and the investigation began from there for a homicide. The victim was identified as Ashanti Morgan.
And what was that year again?
2021.
So 2021, obviously your life changed.
Yes.
To say the least.
Say the least.
I want to help refocus the conversation a little bit. We heard where we lost Ashanti. But I want to ask you for the benefit of the people that may be viewing this show today, tell us a little more about Ashanti. I want to hear more about the young man and less about what happened to him. Tell us about Ashanti.
He was my oldest son. And for 17 years, my only son. He was funny, you know. People loved him. He had autism and schizophrenia, but a lot of people didn't even realize it because I never wanted him to walk in that, you know. So most people just saw this funny kid who was just hyper and all over the place, but he was fun and people loved him. He got on my nerves.
Yeah.
He was, you know, he got in a lot of trouble. He was a boy. But he was so much like me. And I think that's why we bumped heads so much. But he was the person that made everybody laugh. He loved his mom. He loved his siblings. He was cool.
When you look at that picture, what do you miss most?
Touching him. I touch my kids a lot and I kiss my kids a lot. And 3 hours before he was killed, I was holding him and kissing him and telling him how awesome he is. I missed that. I missed him saying, nobody believes in me like you do. So I miss touching him and kissing him.
What was his favorite thing?
Music.
Okay.
He could play any instrument by ear.
Wow.
Any instrument, and refused to learn how to read music. So he could never be in band. Like, he was in band, I think, like 2 years, but he refused to learn. He loved music. He loved to rap. He could dance ever since he was little. Like, he would win dance contests and I would be in the background pumping him up, you know. But he loved to dance and he loved family. Big on family. So
if we wouldn't have lost that young man so soon, where was he headed in life?
Before he left the house that day, he told me, he said, "Ma, I have a fresh start." Literally. He said, today is my fresh start. He said, I don't have kids, you know, it's just me. He said, this is my fresh start. What am I going to do? And he said he wanted to go to school for trucking. He wanted to learn how to be a truck driver. And he also wanted to go into real estate. For some reason, he was into real estate. So I told him, you're going to do all of that. And then he told me, and everything you want to do in life, Ma, everything you put your mind to, you're going to accomplish. And then he left the house. And then I got the phone call 3 hours later. So that's where he was going.
Wow. So many people are left struggling to try to pick up the pieces of things. What did Lakeisha do with this? What has Lakeisha done to deal with this and the pain and the memory, honor the memory of Ashanti?
Well, to be honest, when he died, I wanted to die. I had other children and I was in nothing. Nothing was enough to make me want to be here. So I said, I don't want to live another 50 years without him. I just can't bear it. But God spoke to me and said, you can't, because you need to be a part of the solution. I saw what the community needed, and not just ours, so many all over the world. The community is in need of gap services that will identify mental illness in young adults, provide treatment, because a lot of our youth struggle with mental health and no one knows it. So I opened Ashanti's Heart Behavioral Health, a mental health facility. Right now, we provide psychiatric rehabilitation services for adults and transition age youth. We have peer support services. I also have home care services through Office of Developmental Programs, where we work with people with developmental delays, getting them out in the community. And we also provide respite, for the parents or caregivers that need that support. And we also have a day treatment for the kids that are struggling in the main, classrooms, in the classroom, to give them that support so they can go back to the classroom. So we have the education piece in that and the behavioral supports. For
Is all
those
that local here in York?
Yes, we're in York and Lancaster.
Wow.
But York, we're right on George Street, a block from the courthouse. And that's where we have peer support, psych rehab, and the day school. We just contracted with the York City School District to work with the kids there. And right now we have 2. And we're hoping that it grows because we're going to do our part.
Can I just say, I just want to say from me, that's incredible. That's amazing.
I missed one thing.
Come on with it.
We also have the Ashanti Morgan Foundation. I just had a launch and gala. Tiff was one of the speakers there on November 3rd. And this year we are housing 10 young Black men, ages 18 to 25. We are sending them to trade school, providing them with mentors, mental health support, financial literacy, everything they need to become the men they're supposed to be, because our Black men lack resources or the knowledge of those resources. So that's what we're going to do. And we will be filming it to show the world what happens when you invest in Black men.
Love it.
That's it.
You are honoring your son. That's incredible. Tiff, understanding what you do and your role and the fight that you've taken on, that you've put on your back, how does it make you feel? What do you hear when you hear someone who has decided to lean in and cope by getting to work?
First thing that popped in my head is inspiration. Just as she stated, you sometimes want to just give up. You want to quit. You want to just lay down and say, I'm not doing this no more. This is my babies. But when you have the mother that is willing to stand up and do all what you are doing, well, how dare I continue to lay in bed sick? How dare I continue? How dare I? So you inspire not just me, but so many others, and you don't even know it.
We could do a whole entire episode just talking about the way you were able to pull a rose out of the concrete, the way that you were able to lean in and take your pain and decide that you were going to use it to be there for other people. It's unheard of, and it's incredible. And I am so proud of you. He is so proud of you.
I also think that I believe that when this story is revealed to the public, that this story will allow other mothers and parents to stand up, because so many are still laying down, and that's a feeling, and it's a feeling that we have to respect. But I think that when others see the power of what you have done, it will inspire others to do it as well. That's my hope.
I hope so too. On my website, you'll see it says edifying the community is everyone's responsibility. Everyone's responsibility. And I want to add too, for the people watching, we also have 2 transitional homes for young men of all races, 18 to 25, who are facing homelessness right now and have a mental illness. We have 8 beds available right now, 8 beds left available. So if anyone watching, if you are homeless or you know a young man homeless and struggling with mental health, please reach out to Ashanti's Heart Behavioral Health, because we have room for them and we're going to get them straight.
So I'm piggybacking off of that energy, everybody's responsibility. And even what Tiff said about people needing to stand up. I want to look inside of us and take personal accountability. What is it that when you look at the situation and look at what you dealt with and the things that you've gone through, and even the fact that we haven't been able to secure that justice for you yet, what is it as a system, as professionals, as people who care about getting it right, what is it that we could do better? What is it that we should be doing better? How can we support you? What have you seen that's been good, that's been bad? How can we do more? I want to learn from this.
I will say this, and there are those who are watching that are not going to like what I say, because it's going to be, it's going to rub some people the wrong way, but I have to say it. There are a lot of moms or parents or family members who have the story that the detectives and the police forgot about their loved one who was killed, right? And that they didn't do anything about it. I don't have that testimony. Detective Eastman over here calls me every year, not just during the time of my son's death, the anniversary of that, but he calls me on holidays just to say, hey, how you doing? His file is still on my desk, right? In my case, my issue is not with the police department, because they hit the streets and they have done everything. But there are people out there that if a cop killed my son, you would have said the color of his underwear and the color of his socks, his eye color, date of birth. You would have had every description on that cop that murdered my son. But when it comes to the community, when it's within the community, everyone is silent. My son's case is a cold case only because the community did not step up for my son. And if it were yours, a lot of people that were silent, if it were your son, you would want someone to speak up. My issue is not law enforcement. My issue is with the community. We all say we want our communities to be better. We want things to change, but the community changes when the community changes. We have to change our mindset. We have to stop turning a blind eye and saying, I'm no snitch, I'm no this. If we continue that mentality, our community stay the same and the violence continues. And that's what I have to say about that.
Your words, yeah, I'm floored by your words. Your words were powerful. I think they're going to be powerful for anybody and everybody who hears this when they hear this. Baez, well, first, I'm going to come back to you. Detective Eastman, how does that make you feel when you hear what she shared about your care and concern?
Yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, emotional about it because it's, it's being the lead detective on it, I took it to heart, in this particular case, every investigative step that we could take, I feel like we've tried to do those things.
Why do you call so much? What makes you continue to reach out every holiday?
I think it's important to maintain that communication and know that, that family is important and that he was important, you know, that as a victim, you know, as a member of the community, that, you know, they're still important to us. It's still on my mind, you know, it's still something that I want to be able to solve, figure out, bring some closure, you know, to the family, you know. So it's important to just keep in touch, you know, and not let them think that we've forgotten, you know, because we haven't. And I know there's other, you know, I can't speak for every law enforcement agency, but I don't really think that any of them really feel that way. They just kind of lose touch though, you know. So I think it's important, and they're not easy calls to make, you know, and it's not really, if people know me personally, they wouldn't think that that's something that, you know, I'd be really, you know, able to do or interested in doing, but it's that important to me that, you know, I want to reach out.
You feel compelled to do it.
Absolutely.
Tiff and Baez, other side of the coin, because she pulled no punches. She pulled no punches at all. Other side of the coin, how do you feel when you hear that community call to action that she just gave?
I just want to start. That was the purpose of this, is to ask for forgiveness for not doing what you received. I failed. Yeah, only because, like Detective First Class Seaman said, we do care, and that's not displayed to the community. They lump us into a box of thinking that we're all the same, and we're the cops that don't care is just another statistic, and we move on. And that's not. You were afforded something that I failed to do to my families that I still have open cases with, and I feel bad. And that's why when I asked the commissioner for this opportunity is for that reason. I failed in that aspect of keeping in contact, but with that failure, I never instilled in my guys and gals the importance of maintaining and letting you know that this case is important. The families are important. And so I do appreciate. And finally, to hold accountable, as we are constantly, a community that I'm from, born and raised, walk the streets, know this community, that finally, it's your turn. It's your time to now react to what was just said. Now the ball, as they say, is in your court. We need the help. And post-COVID, and in the height of 2021, 2022, when the city was probably at its worst, and the hard work that was done by police, community members, GVI, working together to bring that is why we are where we are today. Trying to ask for some forgiveness and try to do better, but also know we haven't forgotten. We have not. And because I have not made that call is not because I forgot about you. But I do appreciate you and what you said and how eloquently you put it, and being able to not have to be that one mom that I didn't fail, that my guys didn't fail on. So I thank you, and I thank you for holding all of us accountable. You know, I appreciate you saying that you don't blame police. We have, we are a very smart part of the entire law enforcement community. We're only here talking about New York City Police. And we're here to represent and show this community that we need the help. And here's a mom saying the exact same thing. She wants help. We want help to clear this and bring justice to this entire family and to the community, because this does affect the community. So thank you.
For those law enforcement officers that may watch this, or investigators or prosecutors, I would just say let this young lady be the face of how important that 5-minute phone call really was. Let it forever be known what it looks like. Tiff, you heard in this moment a challenge that went out to an entire community, what does that do on the inside? What do you have to say? Do you want to ride, is that anything you want to piggyback off of what she said at all? She said what she said,
Yeah.
but is that,
There's not much to piggyback. Right? Yeah, she said it. There's not you could piggyback off of with that. Community changes when community changes. Like, don't wait for it to hit your front door. Step up, speak up. As you stated, like, we know law enforcement cannot do it alone. Community has to step up and help. There are people who knows exactly what happened to her son. Tell someone. I'm literally repeating everything you just said. So what she said, hopefully people hear it from law enforcement. People hear it from me. Hopefully someone is listening and them hearing it from you, they actually step up and do exactly what you are calling them out to do.
Miss Morgan, I definitely would be remiss if I didn't circle back around and make sure you have the final word. Watching here today, watching these videos, there's going to be people who may have been witnesses. York is only but so big. We're 5 square miles and 50,000 people. So watching on this camera, you have individuals who may have been looking out their window. You have friends of Ashanti's that may know more than what they have shared with Detective Eastman. You have other officers that needed to get involved. You have prosecutors who need to make decisions on things related to your son's case. Heck, you may have the individual themselves, the individual or individuals who actually pulled that trigger. Final words. What do you have to say to any of them watching right now?
For the ones that were involved in his murder, you didn't just kill one person. My life changed that day. In spite of everything I do in the community that is good, my heart will never, ever be the same. You didn't just take one life. And you may not care. You may not care. But I want you to know, for the community and everyone that was out, because there were a lot of people there. There were a lot of people there and a lot of witnesses. If it was your son, your nephew, your cousin, your brother, your dad, what would you want you to do? What would you want you to do? But I'm going to end it with this. You may have taken his life for whatever reason, but Ashanti Morgan, he will live and he will do great. His name will do great things. So you may have taken his body, but you will never take his heart, his legacy, and the change and the impact that he will make in this community and others.
There you have it. Ashanti, we remember you today. And thank you for tuning in and watching. We'll see you next time here at the Remember Me Project.